We've got 17 rounds to go. We won on half a tank of gas. We got half a beer. It's dark, and you're wearing sunglasses.
Hit it. Welcome to the Round 6 Collingwood Rant. I am Sly.
And I am. There's nothing wrong with my eyesight, Spook.
We are coming to you after demoralising the Bombers by a hefty 4 points.
It was very hefty.
Huge. Spook, thoughts about the game?
Before we go any further, do you want me to dim the lights?
No, they're good the way they are.
Okay.
Future is so bright, I got to wear shades.
The game, thoughts? Well, I think it was fantastic. We dominated, and
Then we didn't.
Aside from 5 minutes, we were probably clearly the best on ground. And then that half-time thing happened.
I know. Alright, so first quarter we absolutely obliterated them.
We
Made
did.
them look slow, second to the ball, not hungry enough. We're incisive with our forward thrust. Second quarter we dominated for most of that quarter, but we were wasteful. Bombed the ball, missed in front of goal.
Like the Collingwood of old.
Yep, and let them back into the game. And then when Joe Danaher had that shot at the end of the halftime, for some reason we had Cox on the mark rather than at full back. Maybe, and I don't understand why players don't actually stand on the fence and run in to get a jump at the ball. But Danaher nailed a really nice goal from 60.
That goal was absurd, though. I mean, seriously, it was heading so far left of that goalpost, and then the football gods blew it back across.
If that was Anthony Rock, it would have been paid a point.
Yeah, it would have been outside the stadium.
Yep. Third quarter, it was a tight tussle. It really became poor for our disposal.
I don't remember any of this.
And the last quarter, they came at us hard.
I don't remember any of this either.
And it came down to the last couple of minutes where we just managed to hold on.
No, hang on. I've got it quite reliably given to me that the umpires got us over the line.
Well, they probably did. I mean, because the umpires were there when they didn't pay the tip and woody throw to Joe Danaher, where they penalised Langdon for pushing against Bagley, or they're pushing against each other, and Langdon was pinged for a hold. Didn't pay Beamsy's mark in front of goal. I mean, there's a whole.
The list goes on.
There's a whole lot of bad fish. I mean, the other one too.
But no, we should focus on that last one though.
But that last one too,
because it cost them the game
when they kicked the ball when we kicked the ball forward, and Stevenson picked it up, and Guelphy tackled him.
Spike.
Yeah, well, if you watch that, Guelphy's holding Stevenson in before he gets it. It should have actually been holding the man if it was anything. But hey, AFL, you got the prior opportunity rule, so you know what?
Suck it up, princess.
And the umpiring fraternity came in and ticked off every decision. So
every decision.
Yep.
Except one.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, let's get to that in a second then.
First half, we kicked 7-6 to 5-4.
Oh, fantastic.
That wasn't fantastic. I mean, if we kicked a little bit straighter, again, if we kicked, 9-4 or something, would be...
What if we kicked 32-1?
I'm just looking at the actual shots we did have.
Oh, sorry.
But again, if we're
I like my scenario.
If we're a little bit more accurate, you could have really
kick
sort
64, none?
No, of the shots we did have.
Oh, okay.
And there's no 12-pointers and all that sort of stuff. In the second half, we kicked 3-7 to their 5-6. So again, we were wasteful. There were some shots that just missed entirely. And to me, it's a little bit concerning so far. Well, actually, there's two sides of this. It was very reminiscent of the grand final. Smashed them early. They came back. We sort of held on. They kept coming back hard and hard and hard, and they were unrelenting. Unlike the grand final, we managed to hold on.
Oh, the stakes were different.
Yeah. Well, if it was a prelim, it would have won. But in the sense you think, well, the players now know, hey, okay, we can hold on if required. Probably needed some umpire assists. But on the other side, when we're challenged, we just seem to lose a bit of composure, become a bit, I don't know what the right term is, millionaire-ish with our disposal, become wasteful, just kicking the ball forward. I mean, we totally took Cox and Mychik out of the game with some really poor delivery up forward. I mean, for me, it's really amazing in football that when you're passing the ball around the ground, you're trying to hit someone on the chest. But the moment you get to within forward 50, you just boot the shit out of it and hope for the best. Surely, at some point, somebody should go, well, let's just keep looking for targets. But we really seemed to implode, and we gave them the ascendancy where we ended up chasing them. And I they'll complain about the umpiring, but geez, I reckon there was some umpiring that got them back into the game as it was.
No, I can't have that.
But we really managed to just hold on, and they were playing well. So
I think that's also a key thing is that maybe you do have to give Essendon a little bit of credit. They did get a confidence boost in those last 5 minutes of the second quarter. You take that into that halftime break, you'd be fired up. You'd come out firing. And we were just a little bit lackadaisical, I think, and they started to run over us. So I think there's a little bit of credit there that the Dongers definitely deserve to get, but...
I'll give them the credit. I mean, they did play well, but it was reminiscent also of the Collingwood-Richmond game where I think it was Shane Edwards, whoever it was, one of their players got a goal at half-time and brought them right back into it. But the difference was, in that game in the second half, we kept to our game plan, we asphyxiated them, and then we ran over the top of them. Whereas with this one, we just seemed to go to pieces. And when they came at us, it was one of these things like, we're already panicking, and then we just panic worsened. And the guy who really stood up for us is the Anzac Day medalist, Scott Pendlebury. He showed poise, composure, he showed he was class as he'd been class in his prime. Whereas other players were a lot looser with their decision making.
I think that's the power of the Rant too, as well. In the terms that previous week we may have been a little bit hard on Pendlebury and pumped up Myercheck's tyres, and look what happened.
I did that one. Should we have made moves in the second half? We did talk about this. I think they could have moved more forward and maybe put Myercheck down back. I don't know if Moore would have done anything the way we're delivering it though. But I would like to see the team be a little bit more flexible. You got guys like Howe and Moore up forward who are also known as forwards. Down back, and they're also known as forwards. You could probably throw them and rotate them around. Myercheck's known as a defender, so he could probably go back and play that. Do you think they should have actually changed anything up?
See, I don't know. I'm not as harsh on Moore's performance down back as you were 10 minutes ago. I think it was a good battle, I think, and certainly Danaher's a very good quality player, and also to credit Stringer's performance, I thought on the day was
Stringer was brilliant.
And when you're getting some of that delivery, and these two guys are clearly switched on, it's quite a challenge then for the defence to actually consistently to best them, and certainly in the second half we faltered a bit there. Look, I mean, making changes like that, I don't think that we like to toy too much with the structure.
Oh, we don't. And
that, if you stick to your guns and you'll bear fruit, or whatever it is, the cliche that we like to ramble out, I'm not entirely sure. I think the key was it all. I don't think what changes you would have made. The delivery was such haphazard. You weren't really hitting targets. You were bombing. It doesn't matter who's on the receiving end of that. You would have thought Cox, with his almighty powers, would have been clunking them left, right and centre, and even that wasn't happening. So,
I'll segue into this in a minute, but Cox really got held and impinged and was not taken care of at all. Seriously, how did you feel about the umpiring?
Look, I don't remember being greatly annoyed watching the game. I don't think there was... I mean, it was bad, but bad both ways. Yeah. I don't think that you sort of felt that we were getting the rub of the green, or Essendon particularly was. It was just a lot of bad decisions consistently being made. I think that when you get one that's close, like the Stevenson one at the end, where that could have been advantageous to Essendon, that's where these things tend to get a little bit inflammatory. And suddenly the game was there to be won, and we didn't. Now we're going to sook about it.
Well, going on that, I mean... we rewatched some of the highlights and that. How wasteful were Essendon with their own disposal?
Well, yeah, that was a good point.
I mean, they complain about freeze, but how many times under very little pressure did they either miss a teammate or they just nailed it?
That was Collingwood's fault as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, apparently. How did you feel, so it got brought up, about the Essendon fans booing Scott Pendlebury when he went up to receive his medal?
I think in that stage, and it's not really that stage of the game, but that stage of the ceremony, the proceedings, that wasn't on. Now I can understand that it's a vocal thing, and they're complaining about, they obviously felt that they were hard done by. But you've got to pick your moment. I don't think during a presentation ceremony that's the time that you boo, unless of course it's to Rewald during the grand final parade.
Well, I was thinking about this, and the Essendon fans booed Pendlebury, and it's like Essendon fans a few weeks ago were booing their own team because they weren't doing well. So
maybe it's there.
There really seems to be, sorry, I'm just going to say this and piss everyone off, a martyr complex amongst Essendon fans that, you know what, we're always being targeted, we're aggrieved. Oh, look, WADA penalised us for using unknown substances. How dare they? And it's like, maybe they take a little bit of responsibility, you know. When Collingwood fans complained, not all of them, but when Collingwood fans complained about Maynard being blocked in the grand final, it was like all a bit of a laugh. But now when Essendon fans complain about umpiring, it's like, oh, take it seriously. Take it seriously now. Let's make some changes. Serious question.
Oh, I'll give you a serious answer.
How are you feeling now about the Dane Beams acquisition? Do you feel it's bearing any increased productivity over last year?
I think he's a solid contributor, but he hasn't had any sort of breakout moments or any sort of great highlight package moments. Is that a fair thing to say? But you know, I think he's like a solid contributor. But you know, maybe I think it's still going to be a little bit of time before he finds his place. He'll have his breakout game. He's too good a player not to. But whether he consistently does that with some of the quality around him, then maybe just a solid contributor is all you're going to get out of him at this stage.
Let me put this hypothetical to you.
A slight hypothetical.
A slight hypothetical. That's a very, very original term. I was watching some of the comedy stylings of the Hawthorn-Carlton game. Jeez, you lost another one in the last couple of minutes. Anyway.
Hang on, I can't hear you over the violins.
Okay. I was watching the comedy stylings of the Carlton-Hawthorn game, and just in my opinion...
It was funny.
In my opinion, for the price we paid, like I've said, I would have taken Beams a little bit cheaper, but for the price we paid, I would have rather they threw that offer to Port Adelaide for Chad Wingard.
Yeah, I can understand. But there's a bit of a bromance element to all this, remember?
Oh, but that's I've always said there's a bit of romanticism as to why they brought Beams back.
Yeah, I mean, you can... Yeah, look, I know it's a hypothetical, but...
Obviously you can't do it now.
No, but, you know... Look, I don't think he's terrible by any stretch.
I know, I think he's a solid contributor, but I'm looking at like what we had and what we needed to add to that formula to get us over the line. Now, you go back to 2010, or 2009, 2010, what we obviously lacked was a hard in and under grunt midfielder.
Like Sire.
Yeah, I was going to get to him. Who throw his body over a grenade to win the ball. Okay, I was going to get to him. And we lacked a genuine ruckman. And we went and got Ball and Jolie. And they were like the two final pieces that fit into that puzzle.
You're going backwards.
Yeah,
I'm with you. 10. Yep.
Looking at the team that lost last year, and you obviously had Elliott and Moore coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully Elliott will come back still. But did you really look at that losing grand final team and think, Beams is what we're missing?
No.
And, you know, did you think like someone like a game-breaking type Wingard would be better addition there?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I mean, I know we had Elliott coming back, so they probably didn't even contemplate it.
No, and I can understand the balance of this as well, too.
But what we are probably missing is a sire, like a really big-bodied mid. And Wills has been performing well recently, but we'll talk about that later. But they are probably missing...
Wills or Wells?
Wills. Both are actually performing well.
Wells and Wills.
But
I think they were famous explorers.
That was Burke.
Oh, sorry.
But they're missing that big-bodied mid who can just win the ball, stand up in tackles, and feed the ball out and give guys like Treloar and Pendles in that first use.
Who do their best work on the outside.
Yes.
Running in.
And on that again, how'd you feel about Still Sidebottoms again?
I thought he actually started quite well. I think I commented during the game that I thought that he was his first quarter was good. I mean, he positioned himself well. He was solid. You know, like even if you go to that final couple of minutes, his composure and that hit in the dying seconds of the game was again just that broke Essendon's ability to move forward. And that's the stuff that he does well, when he does it well.
Yeah, well, that's what I've always said. I mean, he's capable of elite passages, but consistently.
And also, too, as you said, and when we watch the highlights, that snap
That snap goal's brilliant. And
that
that's why I think he should be a forward.
Yeah.
But he also had some really bad moments where he just bombed it, didn't look, and did his typical...
Well, that's just side bottom.
And, I mean...
Only Sidey can do that.
And he has been criticised as being unaccountable to an extent. So... You know, I mean, I want the best from every player at Collingwood because I obviously want to be the best chance of winning a flag.
Well, that would be the best way of doing it.
But I do feel like at times we really exalt players who don't deserve that standing and we overlook some of their deficiencies. Any final thoughts about this game before we put it to bed with the 4 points?
No, take the 4 points and run. We won ugly. Very ugly, I think, in the end, and but winners grinners.
Yep.
So eat a dick, Essendon.
Right, we'll be back with Media Mephitic.
Oh, this should be a busy one.
It is a busy one.
Are you taking your sunglasses off for this?
Future's too bright to take my sunglasses off.
I've got to wear shades.
Welcome back from Media Mephitic. I've heard this one's going to be a full one.
Is it a full one?
Before the game, Mick Malthouse said the Anzac Day fixture should be shared. What are your thoughts?
I reckon every year since about 1972 there has been one article written, they change the author's name and they just cut and paste the same rhetoric every time. Fuck off with these articles. I'm sick of seeing them.
Jeez, I really don't have much to add to that. Thanks, Mick. Robbo.
Yes. I mean, no.
The other Robbo. Social media has become an outdoor toilet.
Well, you can just stop there. That's probably the best thing Robbo's ever written.
Outrage has become the norm in footy, overtaking the great things about the game. Firstly, I want to understand the difference between social media becoming an outdoor toilet and an indoor toilet. Is there like a greater severity of shit with an outdoor toilet?
I think when you poo into a hole, it has more impact.
But is that what an outdoor toilet is? I just thought like it might be a cubicle outside.
Isn't this just a metaphor for the Herald Sun?
That's a sewerage system.
A big one.
And on top of that, while we're with Robbo wrote an article last week imploring Brisbane Lions players to not shake Dane Beam's hand before the game.
Didn't we cover this in the rant last week?
Yes, but I'm just bringing that up for
thanks.
context. And then he wrote an article imploring fans not to boo Gary Ablett. It's like, well...
Those standards are incredible.
I mean, surely if you're on an article and telling Brisbane Lions players not to shake Dane Beams' hands, the fans are reading those papers and going, well, okay, he's actually endorsing us to treat this player like shit.
I'm forming a very firm opinion that Robbo is probably the most efficient troll on the planet. He just knows which buttons to push.
I am forming opinion...
You've got to drag people to that paper somehow.
Well, if you just put it on the roller in the outdoor toilet, they would use it at some point. Yeah. Steve Hawking would contact the integrity department if booing of Gary Ablett Jr. continued.
Good on you, mate. That should fix it.
What do you feel about booing? I mean, we had our own experience of booing with Scott Embleberry.
Well, we talked a little bit about it last week. I don't get the whole booing thing, but it doesn't. It's never bothered me or anything like that. I mean, the only doubles. I see what you did there, unlike you. The double standards with the booers is always incredible. You know, as I said last week, as an example, is when a player comes to you, it's wonderful, but when they go somewhere else, it's boo. You can't have it both ways, but booing is booing. It's part of the game. That doesn't particularly bother me.
I've always said it's part of the theatre, as long as it's not being directed.
Yeah, I went to the theatre once and there was booing.
Was it a Sydney Swans game?
Yes.
As long as it's not, directed in a racial way or homophobic ways.
Adam Goods.
I mean, in a lot of ways.
Can't you be a dickhead and be booed for being a dickhead?
Well, then all the media would get... Not all. A lot of the media would get booed. Damien Barrett took a shot.
Boo!
I agree. Take a shot at Luke Hodge being mic'd up against the Collingwood game. In response, Hodge called Barrett a knob.
See, when I mentioned the word dickhead and you went to Damien Barrett, that's not a segue by any stretch of the imagination, is it?
It's a stubby stretch.
I'm not wearing stubbies.
And yeah, Hodge called Barrett a knob and said, well, they asked me to do it, so I did it. And then Barrett wrote this totally bullshitty apology saying, you're a great player, but what you should be doing is focusing on helping Brisbane win, blah, 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 and all this sort of shit.
Did he really write that?
Yeah, he did.
Because I would have thought when Hodge called him a knob, that was just the end of the discussion.
No, Barrett doubled down and went in, and Hodge must have just... I think Brisbane must have spoken to Hodge and just go, don't waste your breath. He's
on that knob.
It's like, it's really funny. You see all this shit like roaming Brian and grabbing players for interviews after quarters and all that. And so obviously they've gone to Hodge. He hasn't gone to them. They've gone, can we talk to you? And he's just done the right thing by the club and by the media. And he's getting castigated by a guy who's best known for sliding doors and appearing on the footy show.
And popping out of people's rubbish bins.
That's
like Oscar the Grouch. Except Oscar the Grouch had talent.
While we're talking about shit media, Jack Riewoldt took Tom Brown to task for tweeting about his knee. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did actually. You would have thought that Riewoldt would have picked someone challenging.
So Tom Brown tweeted, inside sources say Jack's knee's not as bad, he's had scans and it's just a PCL. And Jack Riewoldt just came out and said, well, how would you know that? Because I haven't had the scans yet. You know, you might as well just be admitting you're making it up. And
was there Twilight Zone music in the background?
Tom Brown doubled down, X-Files music, and just saying, oh, you know, again, a really bullshit rationale to why he tweeted what he did. And it's funny because this is all coming in the back of Robbo saying social media's a toilet. So
it's like he's prophetic. I said prophetic, didn't I? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like Nostradamus, really.
Well, when we play Richmond, I hate Jack Riewoldt. He's a twat.
Is he a knob?
No, he's a twat. He's one of those players, you know, that...
What would happen if a knob and a twat got together?
I know you'd have a twat.
What would Riewoldt and Barrett do?
I know, but he's one of those players, like when Didak was at Collingwood, if he's on your side, you love him, but when he's on the opposition, he annoys the hell out of you. But when I've seen him interviewed, he really is insightful and he comes up with some good stuff.
Who, Didak?
No, Riewoldt.
Oh.
Didak's never interviewed. Chris Mayne revealed his first season at Collingwood was so tough he'd cry before training.
I know how he feels.
He said training, not before games.
Oh, sorry.
So good on Maney for turning his career around. Hopefully he can be back with his back intact.
Hopefully he can be a premiership player and a true Norm Smith medalist, like he almost was.
Yes. Braden Maynard came out and admitted he was blocked in the grand final.
We all know that.
Well, it's done. Well, I don't know.
Thanks, Maney.
Yeah. Maynard. Not Maynard. Maney.
No, whatever.
AFLW news. Brianna Davey, inaugural captain at Carlton, two-time best and fairest winner at Carlton, has been traded to Collingwood.
Yes, I read about this. And it only cost us our first 4 picks.
But we did get their 4th and 5th pick back.
Well, that should net the balance.
Oh, well, that's what, pick 70 and pick 152? Well, hang on, wait, because there's only like 8 teams, so pick 4.
Isn't there more next year?
No, is there?
I don't know.
So we'll probably just lose more players?
That actually devalues the picks even more so.
I don't know. I mean, but what do you think of getting Brianna Davey? I mean, I think originally Collingwood was founded by poaching a Carlton captain back in 1891 or something. So maybe it's a sign of us being dominant for the next 40 years before losing the next 28 grand finals.
You know what? I'd subscribe to that.
I think that's the thing.
But she's good, so can only be a good thing.
I'm going to mention this because I saw it when I was on Twitter. Twitter user by the name of Bomberboy, at Bomberboy91, tweeted, geez, I hope Pendles and Treloar both do knees because they've got no depth. Really classy.
No, you're a good bloke.
You are aware Treloar missed like half the year last year and Pendlebury played with a back so bad he could barely move. We had about 28 players out and still made a grand final.
If I could make a request next time when we do Mephitic, when we do the knob section talk, can we get Bomberboy back in there?
They used to sing a song about him. No, wait, that's Tarzan Boy. And that's it for Mephitic.
Oh, that was a big one.
I know, it was a big one.
Well done, media. Good work. You've been a bit quiet of late. It's good to have you back.
It's good for Robert. Robert actually bagging his own people now without realising it.
They do eat their own.
Yes. And then they produce more of their own.
Yeesh.
Just splash into the full. Anyway, we'll be back with the round 7 preview.
You're doing quite well reading all this with sunglasses on.
They're not sunglasses.
No.
They'll help me see into the future.
Are they X-ray specs?
Do you want to know what's in our future?
No.
It's a grand final.
No.
And there might be a loss involved.
Oh, you're short on the odds there.
Anyway. And it is time for the round 7 preview against the
round 7 already.
Round 7. Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? We're playing. Is that our first game at Etihad?
Marvel. I think it's called Marvel Endgame Brie Larson Stadium. Yeah. Marvel Captain Girl, Superwoman
on Friday night, right? And Port's doing well. They just smashed
West Coast previous week, and yeah, that's the previous week, isn't it?
They beat North.
And North, yeah.
The
big
might
North.
of
That's a
North.
big scalp. Was it?
Huge
was it
scalp.
North? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it was North. No, actually, they almost lost to North, didn't they?
No. They dominated.
North came back.
They came back, but I think it was too late by the time they came back. I think that's it. Oh, no. So Port's actually look like they've turned around their form after doing nothing for the last 19 years. They had that one great year where they made a prelim and got ripped off against Hawthorn. And then they've really done nothing except knocked us out of finals. I'm presuming Aish will be fit, who missed Anzac Day with concussion. The reserves lost by 37 points, but Swingman, because he can play in the AFL and in the VFL. Ben Reid,
just like sitting on a bench, on a veranda. I meant to say veranda.
a porch.
Forget about the bench.
Anyway, he kicked 2 goals and got 22 disposals and finished with 12 marks and 8 hitouts as the reserve ruck. It's a pretty good game.
Yeah, it's good work. Good work. Do it again for another 3 weeks and we'll talk.
Yeah. Do you think Reid could replace either Cox or Mychek?
Not at this stage. Unless you were looking to rest. Would you rest anyone against Port at the moment?
No.
I wouldn't either.
And there's always the risk you rest someone and then you just disrupt the whole system, and then when they're coming back to play again, they slip on a banana peel and do a hammy and miss 28 weeks. And I'm going to just presume that Elliott should be fit. We don't know.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine he'd be okay.
If it is just a corky as they said.
It's Collingwood cork. He could be gone for weeks.
Oh, it could be gone for 10 weeks like Jeremy Howe. If it is just a cork and it's not a cover for his soft tissue problems resurfacing, if it's his soft tissue problems, that's it. His year's done. Because he'll just come back in 4 weeks and do it again and so forth.
Well, I saw him today at the Auskick Clinic, and he seemed to be walking quite freely, so I wouldn't have thought.
How was he running?
Like this.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you run at Collingwood.
But no, he didn't look like he was hampered. But that's just walking. But he was wearing shorts, so he wasn't hiding anything.
There's kids there too, huh? Classy runner Daniel Wells recorded 20 disposals, 5 marks and a goal in his 3rd game back from a long-term foot injury.
3rd game?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We have covered this each week, haven't we?
Well, he's not up this.
I don't watch this show, so I wouldn't know.
So what do you think about the possibility of playing Wells?
I think he's more likely.
Who would you replace?
Well, that's the problem.
Would you get rid of...
Again, it comes back
Josh
to
Thomas?
To possibly.
They rushed Hoskin Elliott in. No one expected that.
And he was quite good.
And he was good, and that's his 1st game back. And that shows that they feel he can just pick up the tempo. They're not going to drop him now.
No.
So Josh Thomas is probably the one. He did a few silly things. He got caught by Saad. He's not really getting very much of the ball. He's not really impacting a lot at the moment. He is playing in a position which obviously as a small forward is a bit difficult to produce consistency.
Callum Brown would be the other one.
Yeah.
That you could make way.
But Callum Brown, for me, would be likelier to be expendable for... Rupert Wills had 28 disposals, 8 tackles.
8 tacks.
8 tackles.
Well done, mate.
So, Wills, I thought a couple of years ago when he was getting games, I thought he looked a really exciting prospect. Big body, had composure, decent kick and all that. So, yeah, I think if you look at our VFL form last year when it was good, it was when Sire and Wills were just blitzing. And they're in the middle, and they're obviously just too big and strong for all the mids.
Interesting.
Isaac Quainer finished with 21 disposals.
Good. Keep going, mate.
So you got guys like Reid and Wells doing well, but obviously they must be being put to the sword and being told you're going to have to prove that you're going to be able to stand up week after week. So you're probably going to play another couple of weeks in the reserves, I'm guessing. Aish, hopefully fit. Elliott, hopefully fit. Will's playing well. Quainer, they'll probably give a bit more time. I think he'll probably finish in the team by the end of the year. Goldsack's the forgotten man. He's still around. Is there a role for Levi Greenwood in the current side? He was again...
Very quiet. Was he tagging?
I think he tagged side bottom.
Yeah, well, that worked. Yeah, look, I think that's another potential expendable. I mean, the thing is, you want to get some run time into some of these periphery players at some point.
Do you think Greenwood could just be a extractor and not a tagger?
No.
Okay, that answers that.
No. He tags. That's really the string to his bow at the moment. Well, not at the moment.
Well, did he win the best and fairest at North?
Did he?
I don't know. Or he came second?
I could have won one there.
Why don't you go win one now?
All right. I'll be back in a minute.
He had a really good season at North. I don't think he was playing just as a run-with player. I think he was actually playing as a genuine mid also. So I just wonder whether he could do that role. He's a big body. Good thing I like about Levi, he's really hard at it. Takes no prisoners. Got that sort of attitude.
There's a bit about him.
Yep. Merkin about him. But the thing is, however they're playing him at the moment, it's not working, and he's not really doing a great job.
Which I think comes back to him just being a swap-up player. You can bring him in, bring him out.
And he's only got like a few guys where you'd say, well, let's play him like on Selwood and Martin. And even Martin, Greenwood beat him this year, but last year, a couple of times during the home and away, Martin got a hold of him. In the prelim, Greenwood got the better of him, but Martin was struggling obviously with injury. So I just don't know if there's a way they can...
No. And you know that Robbie Gray's out for 4 weeks with a fractured hand or something. So that's going to work for us. So look, it could be a... you don't want to use the word experimental round, but it might be time for a bit of experimenting.
Well, it is a bit of a concern because that Eddie had. If it was an MCG, okay.
Well, yeah, the concrete surface there, and the fact that you sneeze on it and 14 divots come out of it could be the fact that you might be the opportune time to throw a few out. What have we got the following week?
Someone.
Carlton, I think.
Could be.
So that's a bye. So we could...
Carlton's doing okay at the moment.
for about half a game.
Well, Cruz, watching the game, Cruz,
I don't want to do
anything they struggled.
In a prophetic manner, but I did have that dream about a week ago I told you about that we got beaten by Carlton. A dream to some, a nightmare to others!
What a movie. Your tip?
We'll win by about 38 points.
Okay, well, I'll tip us by 46 points because I'm just going to...
Oh, you're always so controversial.
Yes, future so bright.
You got to wear shades.
Yep. Any final thoughts before we leave our multitudes of Rantomaniacs?
Just go out and win, please. Yet again, I'm enjoying the winning.
Well, it's good. We're not playing that. We're not playing 100 minutes of football, really.
No, about 34.
Yeah, and we're pulling off wins of 4-2. We're in the 4. So here's hoping that when we get to the business end of the season, we actually develop some momentum.
I hope so.
We're on. If you want to subscribe down here, leave comments.
Unless, of course, you're podcasting with us, then just do whatever it is you podcasters do.
And Spook.
We are on Apple now and
we're on
Spotify,
Apple.
So you can ignore us on 3 places now.
Apple will be having a press conference, about 2 tomorrow, to announce that they have taken us on.
To apologise to the world.
And, of course, we have a Facebook page.
We should post on it one day.
I did post something on it.
Oh, was it good?
Yes, if you want to see...
I posted a recipe for Scotch eggs.
If you want to see something great, I posted... I don't know who did it. Good work, whoever did it. Put together a collection of free kicks.
Our best jokes?
No.
Oh, that's why I missed it.
Yeah. A collection of the free kicks we weren't awarded at Anzac Day game. With explanations about what wasn't awarded. Because,
good work. It's good to see someone do something constructive with their time.
Yep. Anyway, we will be back next week. Here's hoping it'll be a good week.
Here's hoping.
Later. I've got to get it one day.
No chance.